I feel like I'm swimming back to the ship. The ship is left without me, and now I'm swimming furiously to get back on the ship so that we can continue our journey here. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Triumphant patience from everybody here who has been following this show. A weird amount of circumstances just led to this kind of sporadic show in the last few weeks. So again, thank you for all the support through that. Artist Journal, June 28th, 2024, broadcasting from Berlin, Germany. I am back for a couple of shows here Friday and Monday. My name's Adrian Pocobelli, and yeah, going to Spain, finally going to Spain on Tuesday. And I'll be there just for a week. And then all the traveling should be mostly wrapped up. There may be other stuff coming down the pike in a month or two, but in a month, maybe 6 weeks, but nothing too crazy. I think we've gotten through the hump here. We've gotten over the hump and everything. We've gotten through the storm, so to speak, to use our sea analogy that we love over here. And so now, just finally. So there's going to be a show on today, of course, this show, and Monday. And then I'll have a week off, and then I think it'll be the following Wednesday, just to keep on top of things. And what else was I going to say here? This is what I was going to say. This is not going to be like some comprehensive, bring you up-to-date show. This is me. I have a window here. As you can imagine, when you go on, when you go away, even if you're working, there's still a massive catch-up to do. So I had a massive catch-up here. I have a window of opportunity here today, and, it is all about showing up. As I say this after, a sporadic couple of shows, but it really is all about showing up, and that's what I'm doing here today. I said to myself, it doesn't matter how long this show is, whatever, you just have to put something out today. So that's what I'm doing. So luckily, the artists, there's no shortage of brilliant artworks. I showed this to a friend of mine. I was just in Brazil. And this came out, I don't know, a week ago from Zozo, Plant Computer, which I'm about to hit play on. He didn't know. He was asking me about what I'm up to. And I was like, oh, yeah, doing this YouTube thing. And, of course, most people have no idea what we're up to over here. You and me both. And so I was like, well, here's the work that just came out. It's called Plant Computer, and this is what I showed my good friend Ryan in Brazil. So I try not to kill our audio. Again, Scotch tape and scissors here, my friends. Let's see if we can hit play on this. It's tempting to call genius artwork here by Zozo. The zoom in. I mean, it's brilliant. I don't know what they're doing in the museums, but this is what we're up to over here. This is what we're up to over here. Like, this is rad. What is this? What I absolutely love about Zozo's work. My friend was so impressed. He was like, what on earth was that? He's like, I kept on watching that on loop. Well, so, Zozo. Again, it's like, yeah, this is what we're up to over here. I say proudly, these artists, my God, and I only discovered Zozo, I want to say maybe 4 months ago or something, 5-6 months ago. It's kind of a recent discovery, in quotes there. And the title, again, if I walked into any institution, here, Hamburger Bahnhof, anyone, the Kindle that they have here in Berlin, kind of contemporary art, and they showed this, I would be like, wow, this is rad, capital R, rad. So here's more, Plant Virtuality. I mean, and just the title. The concept, the zoom-ins. My friend has done, who I showed this to, has done documentary film. He's like, I want to make NFTs after he saw that. He's like, and the zoom, how it zooms in. He loved the directing of the work. And even the subtitle here, technological nature. This has all been like figured out. Kobe gets it. It was on the market for like an hour. Unfortunately, like I would have just jumped on that. 22 Tezos. Sorry, Emir Gork resells it for only 33. I mean, this you could add a zero as far as I'm concerned on this thing. Like this is a head-turning work from Zozo. Plant Computer. Something, again, people who have never experienced digital art in the way that we're experiencing it over here, like this is like a holy moly moment. Holy moly, what on earth is going on over here? Like it's back to the undeniable is undenied, as David Hickey, the great art historian, was saying in reference to Robert Rauschenberg. Undeniable is undenied, and my God, to quote William Burroughs, it's a Zozo, plant virtuality. Let's see what else the mysterious, magnificent, le magnifique Zozo is up to here. A follow-up work to Plant Computer. Look at these brilliant clouds. All the decisions. One of the things I love about Zozo's work is how I would never make this work in a billion years. Like that's one of the things I love about it, because like it's so original. Like I don't even know what to compare it to. Like what is this? Here's another one. This is called Plant Body. It almost gives like a Swamp Thing. Like, for me, I'm like, maybe Swamp Thing? Like, that's how kind of far off the references I have to go. I mean, it's kind of computery. Like video gamey, kind of. It's kind of got a weird, I'm almost tempted to say, and you see Zozo's name, like a Japanese feeling. Maybe I'm going to see if we can get Zozo on the spaces. I mean, I just want to learn more about this incredible artist, Plant a Book. So I'll just, before I hit play on this one, so you can see Plant City and Plant House. I actually got one of these. I got Inside Plant House. So if you're quick, you can get a Zozo here, Plant a Book. They're coming out, these one-of-ones. Like, I can't think of a better deal in art, other than Walk. But these are even cheaper than a Walk. A Walk physical for like 100 euros. That's ridiculous. So here you have a Zozo digital art, and I'm not serving my collection well by, broadcasting to the world here that these works are cheap as hell and cheap as heck, as we like to say over here. And but all to say, I mean, what an artist. What an unbelievable artist. So you see the plant theme. Love it. Love it to death here. And here is another one, Plant a Book. Let's see what happens here. The joy. This is joyful art. This is happy art, interestingly. Like, it's art that brings joy. It seemed like there was maybe 40 years there where that was not allowed, or that was not something to be done. Serious art is not joyful. Was kind of like what you could, argue was an underlying unspoken, how dare your art be joyful? Well, I submit to, I declare it thus. To quote, I think, Samuel Johnson, kicking the piece of matter, responding to, who was it? The great idealist philosopher who was saying everything was made, George, who said everything was made of mind. And then Samuel Johnson, I don't know if this is apocryphal or not, kicks the stone and says, I refute it thus, and I refute this idea that we can't have joyful art. I refute it thus with Zozo. Genius. It's tempting to call it genius. You don't want to use these words like masterpiece and genius too loosely, but I mean, holy. Right? Holy. Anyway, let's continue here. Thank you, Scomra. Awesome space. from Scamra and, of course, Runetoon co-hosting that really cool, awesome space on Wednesday. That is in the feed. You can find it. And soon enough, now that I'm back, I hope to put these on Spotify. I need to do a 6-month update for Spotify. I should be doing these regularly, but just a big thank you to Scamra. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this. Like this one, I showed the Twitter, and of course I use it for the profile now. But Scamra sent this to me around May 31st, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. Just awesome portrait there. So thank you for that. Go in the collection. NFT Bubble Burst comments. So thank you for all the comments, everyone. It was a fun show out there from my bedroom in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Kyle Flemmer. Our living room couch is pretty much the same pattern as your childhood wallpaper, which, as you see here, is this beautiful floral design inspired, I think, from 1970s interior decorating. Shout out to Mom and also my dad for the decisions there. Kelly Burns. Wow, thank you so much, Adrian. It means a lot hearing. So Kel's, of course, has a YouTube show, so do check that out. Truly delighted broadcast from your childhood bedroom. The wallpaper tells us much about how you became the Pocobelli we all know. So thank you, Kels. Appreciate that. And yeah, indeed, perhaps it had an oversized influence on my development. To buy Eaglesfield. Great conversation on minting and storage. Right, so I believe this was the whole blockchain debate, which blockchain, BTC, Bitcoin, Runetoon, provoking a conversation here. Yeah, very small size art to go on blockchain because as far as I understand it, so to go on-chain, in other words, to not use IPFS or IFPS, Interplanetary File Storage. Very small size art to go on blockchain because as far as I understand it, it's piggybacking the ledger metadata rather than by design. Yeah, like as far as I understand, on-chain art, it's because it's all going on-chain, so you don't have a ton of space. That's very expensive. I assume from this, and I may be wrong, that the space would be ridiculously expensive to be on the blockchain. You can get fantastic art from size-constraint mediums, of course. So do you think Tezos missed a trick by not having some options of limited size, and they could do some variations in formats too, pixel art, vector, and possibly some other methods of storing interesting aesthetics governed by their compression methods? Now, there is, like, if you know 8Bidoo, if I understand the comment right here, to Beigelsfield, if I understand the comment right, there is 8Bidoo, which is, I think they have 24 by 24 pixel, you have 8 by 8 pixel, and we've gotten comments here in the past referencing how that is all on-chain. So there are like Tezos type solutions. Of course, what I would like to see though is a solution. Like I don't know how complicated it is, and I mentioned this the last 2 shows, I think, so I don't need to repeat it over and over here, but I'll say it quickly. What I'd love to see is if Tezos just expanded the block size. It's all they do here, and I should. Where did that like come from? I don't know if you saw that like that just kind of appeared on the screen there. Anyway, I don't know why they don't just expand the block size. You know, it's probably very complicated is why they don't do it. Or if they're, because we hear Bitcoin 4 megabytes, why don't you have like a 200 megabyte blockchain? And then everything goes onto the blockchain, like on chain. Then you're not relying on IPFS. Again, it's just somewhere a point of failure, we might call it there, relying on that. So as far as your question, though, or your comment, I would say 8Bidoo, if I'm not mistaken. I've always been massively opposed to fees, too. It's usually conflated value and artistic substance. Yeah, put it this way. I've opposed them put it this way, when you're paying, I've paid as high as $200, maybe more, $250 US dollars at the height of the bull market in 2021 to mint on Ethereum, which still uses IPFS. That I am opposed to as well. I don't feel as bad about it minting or inscribing on Bitcoin. Like, I just paid $90 actually to put a palm tree. I'll have to show that, not today because I'm getting already weird, kind of freezing up here. We just got to get through the show and show up. But I just minted, say, if you go to my ordinals page, you'll see like a palm tree that was like 70, maybe 60 or 70 kilobytes. Large work, but it only cost me, I think it was $90 actually, which is super cheap because fees are low right now. So I do find it, I don't feel so bad about doing that on Bitcoin because this could be, you know, there's Michael Saylor. He just put out an interview. Like, this is economic immortality. And maybe Michael Saylor is overstating it. Maybe he's not to a certain degree, though. Like, this could be around for tens of thousands of years, or at least 2, right? Or 1 or 500 years. That's not nothing, right? And maybe it gets transferred to the next tech, should there be another 500 years. So I don't mind, you know, because again, I think we're in this and I want to make a video of this pronto, because fees are cheap right now, on how to inscribe on, like, make an ordinal on Bitcoin, because I think we're in this little window of opportunity where artists can upload for not insane amounts of money. To me, it's an opportunity. Like, I hear what you're saying on the fees for Ethereum, on Bitcoin, because it's going up to interplanetary file server. You're not even getting it on chain, right? But for Bitcoin, you're getting it on chain. And I think we're in this little window of opportunity before Bitcoin could really go past, like, where we can't catch it. And as artists put work on, that's more than 2 kilobytes without, you know, breaking the bank. And the computing time, people aren't, you know, if we go to mempool here, just very quickly, I'll just show you, like, we're at like 8 to 12 V-bytes. If you wait, look, even the no priority is down to 6. Like, you can see here, and I'll show this in the video. This is the mempool for Bitcoin. You can see how much it's costing, 13. This is pretty expensive. But you look just 2 hours ago, 8 V-bytes is a good amount, right? That's what I did for the 70 kilobyte file that cost me like $95, 90, 95 bucks. So now it's at 14, but you look, no priority down at 6. Like, it's working through this whole, this used to be 1 to 8 sats, now it's down to 7. That means that they're working through this really low fee structure here. Anyways, I'll save that for the video. But all to say, if you can get it at 8, when you see 8s across here, that's when it's cheap. And again, I'm going to go back into that. So I see it as a window of opportunity. And I don't feel so bad if one of my artworks is there for, you know, potentially thousands of years. Especially in this little window when you can put that much, you know, file size on the blockchain. So I see it as opportunity. I don't feel the same way outside of Bitcoin, though. It's kind of like, you know, the longer I'm in this space, and I think a lot of people are kind of feeling this in the whole crypto markets, you're seeing it in the altcoins. I think the longer you are in the space, all of a sudden I understand the people who have been in the space since like 2013, and they're just like not about altcoins anymore. I'm starting to understand. You know, and you kind of got to learn the lesson you know, for yourself. So again, with BTC, I see an opportunity, and that window could close tomorrow. If all of a sudden BTC goes up 20% or even 10%, the fees are then going to go up because then everybody's going to be doing their ordinals and rune stuff, and you're going to lose your opportunity. So this could be it. I'm hoping we have chop for 6 months. And, you know, or even goes down. I'm happy if it goes down for 2 years as an artist. Let's continue. Love the wallpaper. It's a 70s psychedelic wonder. Thank you, Crash Stop. Shout out again to the parents. Welcome to Brazil, and you may enjoy our winter. You know what I'm thinking? I loved my time in Brazil. I was in a really interesting area near northeastern Brazil, near Fortaleza. There's some kind of nice, we went dune buggies on the beach, as well as there's dunes. Like, there's so much beach over there, white sand beach, that it literally turns into dunes, you know, like 500 meters, a kilometer inland. Thank you for that. I kind of want to go go to South America during our winter over here in Europe. Summer's beautiful here in Europe, but the real time I'm excited to go to South America is maybe January, February. So maybe like that's where it's 30 degrees, you know, and so let's continue. Let's continue. Runtune, thank you, Adrian, for the very thoughtful commentary on my skepticism over pricey inscription. I'm not sure how I feel about it now, but your responses softened my viewpoint. I love that the file size limitations gave you such a formative creative breakthrough with the Pixel Art Inferno series. You make excellent points. Thank you, Runtune, and thank you for bringing that up. I think a lot of people, I got a few comments, people loved that discussion. So Runetoon provoking another super interesting discussion. Here is Limbo. Hi, Adrian, also known as Marco Maraggi. Hi, Adrian. I'm here with a cup of coffee enjoying the show. Thanks a lot for the earworm shout out. And so, of course, Limbo is putting out a comic on Solana. So far, a lot of great topics are being brought up. Cheers. Your friendly, distant neighborhood Limbo. Indeed. I'll have to go to northern Italy sometime soon, practice my Italian. PP Universal, thanks, Poco. Great show. Awesome to hear. And Jonathan Edward Gibson, longtime listener. It's just awesome to hear from you. On the road home, indeed. Indeed, yeah. The long road home. It was good to be back and reconnect in Saskatoon. That fishbone, no, you don't understand. You can also make nonsense with AI instead of it being an exploration of your own subconscious by letting your ideas flow from your mind to your hand. You just click button until something looks kind of neat. It's totally the same of self-expression, guys. So it sounds sarcastic, but I think this is sarcasm. I'm usually the last to recognize that. But you know what? This is actually very much how I work. It's an exploration of your own subconscious. By letting your ideas flow from your mind to your hand, you just click buttons until something starts to look good. That's not that far from what I do, as a matter of fact. It's totally the same as self-expression. I mean, it's about the result in large measure. Put it this way, I think one of the measures we can have here are the results. And if it gets too easy, I mean, this is a very early debate we discussed here on AI. I think there's an early show, like episode 50, where we're looking at Strange Thing, and Strange Thing has the beautiful masterpiece, Thug Lord, a pivotal work, I'd argue, in the AI art space. That's what I would put in the MoMA entrance. We're at my decision. That was when I had to deal with AI art, because I go, what do I do with this? I was thinking, is this pushing a button? And I think that was the name of the show. Is this pushing a button? Is AI art? You push a button, you get it, and then look at what I did. The reality, though, is if you've actually tried making AI art, and if you actually study it and look at what's come out, you really do start to be able to sort, as they would say, the wheat from the chaff. There is a spectrum of quality, and within your own work even, you could say, as you're making it, and you can start to see, okay, it's not as easy as it looks. And all this stuff that looks easy, well, a million other people are doing that too, so it doesn't look super original. So it's kind of about being that top 10% of quality that's hard to make, right? There's a lot of great artists, and it's not easy. Try reproducing a Lily Illo. See how you do, So if I am interpreting this right, that would be my response. Let's see what you're up to with AI art, and then show us how easy it is, okay? Continue, but thank you for the comment, by the way, and all comments are appreciated here. Excerentia, you silver wolf. I don't know if that's referring to the hair. That's one of the things I liked about Skamra's piece there. It was nice and kind of dark hair all across. I felt 10 years younger just looking at it. Looking at the community, Artist Journal community, and you can find that on my profile, actually. Just go here. I got a question about it today, and you see my profile, and just click on Artist Journal Community. As you'll see, the internet is working. The internet is working like a dream here so far, so that is fabulous. And look at who's back. Speaking of fabulous, look who's back, Rosacio, with a new work here. And so this is a free mint, and look at this. So Rosacio took a little break and is back. 0+ mint fee, the Super Chief Gallery and remote control. So Super Chief Props app. Maybe that's not M Props. That's a different one, I think. Claim your free mint, anyway, of a Rosacio. Beautiful work here. So coming back with a slightly different feel. Similar but different. So awesome to hear from Rosacio in the community there. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. If you ever want to bring your art to, to maybe, it gets on the show, actually, is what happens. Feel free to post here. Try and do one a week. Put your favorite a week. Some people kind of can overpost sometimes. So just try and be moderate about it. Let everybody else have their work seen too. And everything as well. Santiago Skamra today was amazing. So referring to the space, it was a great space. Super interesting space with Skamra. Floor, good morning, journal. So beautiful work here. And where is this? This is called Caterpillar Dream. So kind of a semi-abstract work here. Interesting digital art. And of course, the great Kurt Hustle Collective on Zora. and just super cool work here. Even some audio. You gotta love it. From folder to screen to World Wide Web. Kind of a symbolic work here from JNK. Posting the folder, Remycelium, new work, Ode to Antilopus, if I'm pronouncing that right. That is on Zora, very cool work. And Little Cakes was on Fellowship AI, so that is cool. So check that out. It is posted in the community, Simulacro, and I brought up a Simulacro work. Thank you for posting. And this was awesome too. We have a Simulacro work later in the show. This was super cool too. I've never seen this artist before. So this is a great thing about the community. Morgan Higby Flowers, just totally different kind of artwork discovery here. Chris War, and who is the well-known electronic music artist, also digital art maker. So, you know, you can guarantee, or you can assume, produced by Chris War there, and some cool shipping containers, very topical, Trade Disruption Act. J&K, another work from Kurt Hustle Collective, so just very cool works here. And this is on Object, this one, and Skull Takes. And we can't go, so there's a lot of catch-up to do here. Case Surreal, very cool work. Ernesto with another work here. Thank you for posting. And Simulacro, this is the work. We will see that later in the show. Martin Joe, awesome new work on Tezos from Martin Joe. I'm seeing a ton of people post on Zora. And, you know, I always say, like, the artists are like the devs. They follow the liquidity. And people are posting on Zora. This is a really cool work also. This is by Lejo, or this is posted by Lejo X, Genresis, OXDK. And this was really cool by Lejo X themselves. Just kind of a cool stamp. Look at that tank, almost pixel art tank. So Skull Takes, and we'll have to, and we're actually going to look at this closer. Trippy Collector posting the new, what is this? You'd call it like a PFP, profile picture collection from Hasdrubal Waffle. I love how we got a few, as you'll see up here, we have a few OpenSea series that are coming. I love the timing of it. As OpenSea volume starts to die, enter the Tezos, you know, or a lot of just like, you know, digital artists that are all of a sudden like enjoying the space now that it's dead or dying a little bit, or at least we'll call it in a bear. Who knows? In a lull. In a lull. Anyways, let's continue. Okay, Nart. Cool work. Looks like photographic, perhaps AI. Bosque Gracias. Cool. I need to actually message Bosque, who may now in Lisbon, Made in Berlin, Ernesto Ash, and several more. So Diane Lindo, so thank you. This is everything I would hope for from the community. I'm going to start posting article links too once in a while. So just more cool work here. There's a ton to get through. Just hilarious work here, brilliant work as ever from the Kurt Hustle Collective, and some cool AI artwork from Santiago. Thank you everybody for posting. OXDK, look at that. So just a ton to go through here. But isn't this great? I mean, it's almost like a kind of, you know, it's great. It's almost like a kind of submissions, you know, of sorts here. Like, this is just awesome. Just post your work if you're interested in just sharing it with the community. Now let's go. We're already half an hour in here, and I don't have a ton of time. Actually, already kind of breaking deadlines here. Beanie, let's go. So continuing with this PFP generative art NFT kind of super bear. Some people think going to zero. I don't think it's going to go that far, but let's just see. So Beanie, controversial account, but with some interesting posts here. A few months ago, Squiggles DAO. So Squiggles are these abstract artworks here. And they are animated, and they go for a fortune. I think they were going for 10 ETH at one point. They're called Squiggles. So the Squiggles DAO took a $1 million loan to buy more Squiggles. Since then, the floor price has been cut in half, and that was a few months ago. And liquidity non-existent. And this is the issue. I've been calling this a liquidity market. That's why we're seeing the kind of crunching of the contemporary art market. You're not seeing a total crunch, like Warhol's there's still a good market for Impressionist paintings. There is still a good market for, it's the stuff on the, it's like the smaller liquidity sort of stuff, the more edgy contemporary art, the big installations by artists you haven't heard before that are going for $1 million, $2 million, $500,000. That's the stuff that's kind of getting killed in this market. You're seeing the same thing in crypto as altcoins start to kind of get crunched. This is a liquidity market. It's kind of like people want safety with their money right now. They still want to invest, but they don't want to be in something in a $2 million market cap altcoin or stock or a very expensive artwork. So there's no sensible economic reason for the DAO to repay this loan. So they took out $1 million loan as the collateral value likely isn't even half the loan value. So quite interesting development on, these are kind of iconic of the 2021 bull market, as the CryptoPunks were, and and actually we're going to see a little bit more. Now, Snowfro is the artist, I believe, who put the squiggles together. Here's another post the next day. More evidence that the generative art bubble has burst. Full spectrum squiggle went for 16 ETH at Sotheby's, which is about a 90% loss for the seller. So was this going for, so this sold for $57,000? One of this squiggle here, a full color one, this was also used as collateral for many loans at 130 ETH valuation. I mean, that's off the charts. ETH, of course, is almost $4,000. Right? I mean, is that millions of dollars? Maybe 700, 800? That's just wild. Like, I mean, clearly, maybe it was 800,000. I need to get my calculator on that one. The loan default fallout is the next shoe to drop. It's coming. So a lot of people in the crypto space were taking loans out using these squiggles as collateral. If it's worth $1 million, hey, let's give a loan. And from what I understand of what Beanie is saying, don't pay back the loan. Just let your squiggle go. They lent you way too much money, in other words, and you're kind of better off keeping the loan and losing your squiggle. Pretty interesting. It sounds like it's about 50% what they'll give you the loan for. Wildness. Liquidation cascade on CryptoPunks. Down. So this was on June 21st, and we are at June 28th, so about a week ago. We were seeing CryptoPunks, I think they're back around 28, 29 ETH as a floor, but we were seeing it as low as 21.78 ETH. As fear enters the market here, a liquidation cascade. Punks 22 ETH, am I dreaming? So pretty interesting. The legacy, and we actually have another Punks thing, but here the legacy Ethereum NFT market keeps falling after the main Blur farmer pulls bids. As I've been saying for a couple of years now, the bubble popped. What you're witnessing is typical deflation. Prices were artificially held up by points farming, but that has come to an end. So if you're not in crypto, this may seem like a foreign language to you. But basically what Beanie is saying here is buying and selling these NFTs on the Blur platform was giving you points that were kind of redeemable, or they'd give you crypto for it for buying and selling NFTs. And as far as I understand what Beanie is saying, that was artificially supporting prices. Now that the farming or the point making is over and you no longer get that crypto, the liquidity is being pulled from the market. And here we see Bored Apes, again, which were at 150 ETH, now at 9. We'll have to look on maybe the next episode where they are. The Mutant Apes, which were at 15. You know, we're looking at, are now at 1.61. So down 90%. And it may not be over yet. So here's another one post. Somebody just sold these CryptoPunk NFTs for a combined $600,000 loss, both purchased in 2021. So you're seeing massive losses. This looks like a very nice one. Same account is selling this one too and paid about $200,000 more than current market value. So pretty interesting. Now, interestingly, I suspect this is someone trying to kind of juice the market a little bit. Pablo Puncasso sells, one of the works was offered 250 ETH, or 838,000. So the other side of the story is you did see a work sell for almost $1 million here. Kind of a more iconic one with the hoodies. These are more desirable. And that sold for 840,000 US dollars. Kind of bucking the trend. But I suspect when I saw this, I thought, someone's trying to prop this market up. Like, oh, if I do a kind of insane amount, maybe prices will come back. I don't think it worked. Last I looked, it was maybe 29. Uh, I think it's just not they could come back at some point, but I think it's just the nature of this market right now. Again, it's a liquidity market, right? So continuing on, Sabato. Sabato at the Museum of the Moving Image in New York City, which I think is a pretty interesting museum. This is in New York City. Museum is the only U.S. museum devoted to film, television, and digital media. In other words, GIFs and whatnot. Now open Thursday to Sunday. Admission tickets available online. So Tezos, working with the Moving Image Museum of the Moving Image, have partnered up, and they started with a few artists, including Sabato. It starts with Barbie World Breakdown by the first commission artist Sabato Visconti at Museum of the Moving Image Schlosser Media Wall. So big congrats to Sabato and that awesome series. And the thing is, like, we're still seeing a lot of, you see how Zozo is selling out within minutes? You're seeing Sabato, like, the great thing, again, and I keep repeating this about Tezos art, is it's so cheap that you don't feel like, even if it goes to nothing, even if it all gets disrupted, quantum, whatever, disrupts the blockchain, who knows, cracks it, you still, like, you're not losing a ton by spending, $15 on a Zozo one of one. Same with these, like, Sabato works. Like, you get really high quality art. My friend who I was showing the Zozo, he's like, how much was that? He wanted to buy. I mean, I would call him like your typical kind of person outside of the bubble who was like, this is amazing, right? And to me, that's interesting feedback. I was expecting him to think it was cool. I wasn't expecting him to start wanting to make NFTs and maybe collecting them, right? So pretty interesting. So there are a few artists in this. We can't read all this. We're already 36 minutes in, and we have to make sure this computer does not crash on us. The art newspaper here, this was in the art newspaper. I almost forgot to mention, though. I mean, there's Sabato. You have to see this. A piece of the Action Music. So here's the art newspaper, prominent, art media publication. Hilariously, one of my contemporary art friends was actually on the cover at the Art Basel edition of the art newspaper. We'll have to show that at a certain point. But here, the art newspaper, there's Sabato. Sabato's work, Sabato Visconti's Barbie World Breakdown. So more bullishness, interestingly, in this market. The internet, who goes to websites anymore? It's like encumber on to us. But this is totally awesome. Hopefully that's in the print too. Sabato should try and get a copy of that. Just awesome. So big congrats there. There are other artists there too. I don't see them like clearly mentioned. Maybe Alexandra Adamorfaska, head of arts for Trill Tech. So you can read the article. We can't go through everything. Here's also Museum of the Moving Image, Easel Engine. And here you have Sabato in partnership with Tezos. So Tezos, I think they already knew that art was kind of their main thing, but it really is, as you see the altcoins kind of get crushed in this market. When we have more time, we can pay a little bit more attention to the financial side of the crypto market. But you're seeing them get crushed, absolutely crushed. But I think Tezos can be like, hey, we have a real use case here. Interestingly, Zora is picking up steam, though. Like, I am seeing more and more artists using Zora because I think just the money, it's good economics, and artists got to do what they have to do. So, continuing on, Goyong with a comment here, who makes these beautiful artworks that we've seen before. I took a break for a month. For the first time, I spent a month not creating any work and just getting to know myself, discovering what I like and dislike. I realized that I didn't know myself as I thought. Now I have a clearer idea of what I want to do and what I want to create. It will take a long time, but I'll build my story at my own pace and vibe. So spoken as a true artist there, and there is a virtue in taking breaks. Even me coming back here fresh, the break was too long, in my opinion, and it's still kind of, again, I'll do a show on Monday, take another week off, and then I'll be back more on a regular schedule, at least for a full month. But there is a virtue in taking breaks, like even if it's a couple of weeks, and then coming back to your work and go, what am I doing here again? Getting some distance, some perspective on your work. So interesting thought from Goyong. Xerox, the surest path towards success is to just keep arting no matter what. And this is what I'm really excited about in this scene, as you know, there's all, as we saw with Beanie, all of this kind of chaos in the market. I love how much people, like, I don't feel like a lot of the artists that we pay attention to here have missed a beat. Like, they keep just going. And that makes me excited. I'm excited. I'm putting all sorts of stuff on ordinals. That's kind of like, that's what artists do. They're like, you know, a good market is great, but I actually like the bear markets more in terms of, I just don't have the distraction of like, holy, this stuff's going up like crazy, and that's what you're focused on. When you don't have that distraction of the economic side of things, when you don't have the distraction of getting rich, it's actually really good for your art, because all of a sudden you're like, okay, what am I doing here again? What am I doing with my digital art? And you can afford to, you know, mint it a lot easier too, and cheaper on blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin, for example. Before Web3, I thought art was a noun, but ask anyone here and they'll tell you it's actually a verb. I'm arting all over the place these days. So another cool comment from Xerox. Big shout out to Xerox. Strange thing. First breakout post for another app. Small wins. 54,000 on post 3. It looks like TikTok. It is. I'm surprised Strange Thing has taken so long to get to TikTok. And look at that, strangething.ai. Very smart here as far as a handle. And I wonder if that's Strange Thing's website. We'll have to look again at another point. 54,000. Yeah, like there's something very TikTok-esque and there's a virality to Strange Thing's work. So, you know, I've put a couple of from our Twitter spaces, I put a couple of, I think Gogolitis, I have a quote, I think I put up a Sabato work. They got like a, you know, interesting amount of views as far as expanding. It's just a matter of time. I am not even uploading them to Spotify right now just because of time, just to do this work right now. Again, I'm kind of breaking deadlines here. Let's continue. Element Lee scales. So, traveling through the mediums here. Element Lee, look at how great this is. So this looks like, if I had to guess, maybe, let's see if we can get actually a closer look. It kind of looks like one of those, I think you'd call them Japanese, is it Japanese closet, or there's a word for it, for these kind of screens, right, where you maybe get dressed behind it or something. So Element Lee, using cardboard to make one of these, you know, Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, screens, and reconceptualizing it as an artwork, putting paint, I believe, on top here, right? Painting on top of the cardboard. Oh, this is paper. Putting paper just as well, frankly, and then on top. Oh, so this is probably printed, interestingly, or burned in. You would have to see it in person. And there's the signature. You know, I started signing my works on Bitcoin. I'll show them hopefully next episode. I will show them soon enough. Because I thought, you know, if this thing is around for 10,000 years, maybe it won't be, but if it is, I kind of want to have my name on there just in case, you know, in case there are, you know, nuclear wars and nobody knows what anything is, and that's all we have left. The only data layer we have left, or even archaeologists, who knows, thinking very long term here, you may want to sign your name if you're putting on your digital art sometimes. I don't do it on any of the other ones, but Bitcoin, I was like, this could be around a while. Maybe I'll sign this one. These ones. We'll check those out soon enough. Walk, order is chaos. So just walk in the studio, seeing, again, the master at work in the studio here, getting, I don't know how Walk gets these incredible sprays, but just knows incredibly well what he's doing. And some great PP Universal drawings here. Totally awesome. Some physicals. I'm ready for the death of NFTs. Just received some PP Universal physical drawings. I love it. From Genesis. Very cool and good. I am following Genesis. Oh, look at these. So hilarious. Look at all these drawings. We're going to have to scroll through kind of quick. Love the fighter jet here. Something very kind of fun about it. Let's continue. Hasdrubal Waffle, 2600 AD, portraits from the year 2600 AD, as told by time traveler Kujeb Shero, also known as Hasdrubal Waffles, created from memory on an emulated Amiga 1200 using ditch paint. So this is something I've been thinking about for a long time, and I kind of love now that OpenSea is, as we saw with Beanie, we saw the volume kind of collapse. Enter the artists. We have Waffles, we have Rada, I love it. We have Santiago on a different platform. Who's this? We have Demon Ego, hilarious. I don't know if these are on base or not. That might also be part of the reason people are doing them. This looks like it's on ETH. Let me just look here, because I think Degens, this is on base. So Waffles is on ETH here. And I really love what Waffles is doing here. It's kind of something I've thought about. Like, what if you were to just kind of start putting some, I don't want to say random, because they do make faces, but they're just two dots. Like, he's kind of putting scribbles together and then go, boom, put it into the PFP kind of maker machine, and you get all these results. Like, what if I just put some layers together here, a loose version of a head, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I picked up a few. I think I got 2 or 3 of these I picked up. And so they're available now. They're not a bad floor price here at 0.01, so $30 each. Are there any even available? There's one available. So get it while you can. So just very interesting and cool. 57 owners. And it looks like it's sold out, I assume. Just awesome to see that. And Rada, Degens by Rada. So this is 0.013. I say healthy. This is like $35, and you can get, and that's, you can get this one here. Very cool. So this is Rada's PFP collection. This is on base, based one of one degenerative community by Rada. So very nice looking PFP series here. As you see, like, to me, you know what's interesting? I'll tell you what's interesting on the PFP market from my perspective that I just kind of thought about today. So we had all the PFPs on ETH. We had MFers. We had, what else? We had the Bored Apes. We had all these different kind of PFP series. I can't even remember the names. In my opinion, let's just leave it there. I can't remember the names. There's the Pudgy Penguins, which are still doing well. And what we saw then was ordinals. We started seeing the puppets. There's the node monkeys. And all of a sudden, the PFPs on Bitcoin started to get a lot more attention. And what that kind of told me is, you know what? This PFP kind of meta, it's been, or at least format, has hardly been explored. I mean, we have a few on ETH that have been put together, and all of a sudden there's like a new series that went on ordinals, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, those are just as good, if not way better. One could argue. The market has argued. They go for way more money. Who cares about my opinion? The market is saying that. So we're just saying it as an observation here. And all of a sudden you're getting these better, and these ones that are more appreciated or more valued by the market, and all of a sudden you go, there could be way better, that just haven't even been done yet. Like, this has hardly been explored this form. We've had a few, like the artists, to me, like, I would argue a lot of what we've seen are devs putting together, PFP collections, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what about artists? Once we see Hasdrubal Waffle, we're seeing Rada. I mean, remember Die with the Most Likes? That was one of my favorite kind of PFP collections with, he had 2, right? So, like, again, it makes, when I see these guys working here, it makes me go, yeah, like, I still want to do this, so I just think it's really cool, and Rada did a really nice job here. As far as putting this all together, you see, like, it's just different layers. Like, there's the hat's the same, and then you put in the randomizer PFP maker, these variables, just a beautiful, beautiful collection. So, untapped territory, uncharted territory in large respects, this whole kind of layer randomizer maker, or even just the PFP sort of things. Like these, like just really interesting works here. Here's mProp. So now this is AI. This is by Santiago, as far as I understand here, and just putting together a very interesting series on mProps. And I think it's sold out. This is on Tezos, only 2 Tezos per work, edition of 50. This came out January 18th, so maybe I missed this. James Bloom collected 3 Name 8 Things Today by Santiago, Great Gen Art Series. Indeed, I love the contrast here between the super soft and the hard edge. Very nice series indeed. Here's Demon Ego. And I think this is from invitation by OpenSea. Like, again, like if OpenSea, once again, if I ran the world, if I was at OpenSea, why not? I would be saying, hey, thank you, Waffles. We see what you're doing here. Like, can we put this on the homepage for you? Thank you, Rada. Can we put this on the homepage for you? Like, I mean, because they're losing volume incredibly, and it's sort of like we see with Tezos as the market shifts and moves, and the art is stays. You know, like I would argue that's why Tezos is still a thing. The art remains. Okay, like you know, like if Tezos didn't have all the art, it would probably be getting totally crushed. It'd be down at 20 cents, not 80 or 75, whatever it is now. Right? Like, why would you have Tezos if there's no art on it? And I think OpenSea, even though it's not a blockchain, but they should be thinking along the same lines here. Like, what is going to last? Right? So here's Demon Ego. So I think they're really smart to be inviting people like Demon Ego. Hey, put some stuff on the chain and we'll help promote it. Can you do something for us? So June 2024, Demon Ego, 924,000 items created. So I don't know what's going on here. Maybe that's people minting. That would be incredible if you got 6,000 owners. So I don't know how this all worked out. That sounds like almost like Xcopy with the fly, the mosquito or the fly. What is it called? Mutatio. Anyways, let's continue. Another masterpiece here. Another beautiful work. Let's call it better to understate than overstate. Another gorgeous work here by Murakit. Look at this. And it's almost like dripping pixels here. It's almost like dripping paint right there. That is not what that is, but it almost looks like it. Look at this gorgeousness. And remember, we're talking about the animation that is not animation. It's just movement. It just gives life to the image. It's not trying to make the two figures here move around. That's not the point of this animation. This point of the animation is to kind of just create a small life in the image, which is a different kind of animation. And just beautiful textures here. There's something too with combining illustration with this kind of rough pixelation. This, again, like this looks like a gorgeous painting when I see what look like almost like drips. These digital textures. It's hard to leave. It is hard to leave. I'm only 2 minted. Like I need to go and mint all the Murapixels I can. That's something that that's something to make time for, is just finding some works on Zora before they disappear. You could imagine these things being quite collectible, and I mean, what if there's only 10 of these that are minted? You know, there's another 26 days to go, or even 100. But in 20 years, are you going to be able to get your little collection? Maybe no one will care. Maybe they will really care. Continuing on Rennyfish. This superchief.props.app. So the wheels keep moving here on with digital art in the blockchain. You got to love it. Look how gorgeous this is. Let's see if there's volume. No volume on this beautiful work here. As Rennyfish continues to develop here, this style, this theme, these colors, this translucent psychedelia. You know, just very, very powerful, gorgeous colors. It continues to just, they just get better and better, don't they? Your cat swallowed my hand. Very cool title here too. So superchief.props.app. I have no idea. Another platform for you. And here's another one going multi-chain here. Rennyfish on Tezos, Motherland, June 24th. Escape the planet Earth, find the motherland. So really loving what's happening with the colors and the backgrounds and the animations, right? Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. What did that sell for? That sold for 95 Tezos at auction. Not a bad price. You know, again, this is like, that gets your grocery, that gets some pretty nice groceries these days. So nice work. Dana Ulama from New Work, more new work. So whatever the market's doing, artists continue to deliver these beautiful works here. And of course, Dana Ulama has some works, I think, on Super Rare, a couple other platforms too. Just a really cool artist and beautiful kind of, I want to say cyberpunk meets vaporwave. Cyberwave, is that what you'd call that? What is it? Vaporpunk? I don't know, but very cool work here. You see the cat, the depth of field, everything. Just a really cool artist. And here's another one, Uxine Skincare. Kind of a hilarious work here put on Zora. And look at this great textured, see that? I don't know if you can see that. If you zoom in, unfortunately this is the most we can zoom in on Zora, but at least they have the full screen now. If you zoom in, you can actually see just a slight bit of brushwork here. Very nice, careful details here, showing, and here, the brushwork is getting gorgeous, actually, by Uxine, another artist who continues to evolve here in this kind of humorous work, and then contrasting, I mean, I think a Wasteman Goldminovich, contrasting this, and yeah, I can't wait to look, I haven't, there's none in this show, we'll have to look, there's actually, how did I forget? There's the Pocobelli works, yeah, we'll show that next show. Again, I'm just trying to show up here. What else did we have? Anyways, we'll get back to that. That great work. It's like my memory here. Anyways, beautiful work. Hilariously, the skeleton kind of crypto figure, beautifully, beautifully painted. Oh, it was International Pocobelli Day. That was hilarious. Anyways, we'll take a look at those works next episode when we have a little bit more time. That was awesome. Thank you, Retro Manny, who's actually going to be on the Spaces. That was planned way beforehand, by the way. And going to be on the next Spaces. Anyways, look at, like, everywhere I look on this work is beautiful. And what I was going to say with here, it's like the Wasteman Goldminovich, the solid purple here, no texture, contrasting with these kind of brushwork here, and then back to the skeletal things, no texture within the work, although the edges, you do have a little bit of texture. Anyways, just gorgeous work. That's on Zora. Zora, 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 as far as you're collecting, if you want to collect cheap, Zora. And look at all the artists that are posting on Zora. Like, how many did Uxine sell here? Just for the sake of argument. 98. So bringing in a few $100 here, and now, and that was probably a very quick, sometimes it's like a day or a week with Uxine. You got to be quick. And then getting some of these tokens here. So nice work. There's John Cates. Awesome. Another beautiful work from another awesome artist, Jan Lucas Magone on Zora. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful little Ethereum over the angel with the VR headset, or the Apple Vision Pro, almost like a Saint Sebastian arrow coming into the baby here, or the angelic figure. This kind of looks like a bit of a pastiche from like a 17th, 18th century kind of ceiling. Kind of almost reminds you of Raphael here. The two cupids there at the bottom of that work. Just cool. Very, very cool. Nice picture. Just a beautiful digital painting by Jan Lucas Magone. Here's Ed Marola. I mean, the art has not slowed down, as you can see here. We have, admittedly, it's been a couple of weeks since I've done a show, but look at the quality of the work that we're seeing here of the artists. I mean, again, Plant Computer. Plant Computer. Ed Marola just submitted the family to this family to Remote Control Super Chief NFT open call. So here, the great Ed Marola, once again at work. I can't make this any bigger than it is, but just another cool work, which looks like Jesus Saves, is coming in here at the back. Just beautiful work. Here's Yuri J, and I picked up one of these. It's called Octogram. I loved how it's like a play on the Microsoft Windows, kind of like the newer Windows here, interface. And I love it. Just using that as a, you know, compositional device. It almost looks like a Zoom call or something, but then everything changed. You have an octopus here instead of the video sign, you know, audio, instead of the audio sign, you have a chair. Just rad from Yuri J here. So very cool work. 3 Tezos, and I think the sale is over. Has this sold out? 21 left at 3 Tezos, which is only $2.30. What is that? 70-cent Tezos. Good time to collect, you know, many artists. Here's Sandro. Sandro, this is also by Yuri J. I think there was a portrait. Look at this. Look at the detail in this. I think there was like a portrait, Tez Portrait Day or something. All these different textures. You know, really, like, I don't care where the market goes. Like, I just, like, as long as these artists keep going at this point, it's almost like, even if the market dies or we start selling for 10 cents, at this point it doesn't matter. The market has done its job as far as getting us going. And if people, I hope that the market continues, and I think it will, because I think there's real value here. But even, like, the important thing is that these artists are keep minting. It's sort of like Xerox was saying. Just keep arting, because it's getting very exciting. I mean, just look at the quality. And we haven't even hit like, we've hit like a quarter, you know, a fraction of the artists here that we often look at. I mean, and like, I mean, look at the quality of the works that we've seen so far. I'm halfway through this thing. Not even. Here's Machine, right? And Painting My Friends. So as you see here, so people are submitting kind of a crazy one with bleeding gums, kind of perfect. And there's Machine's portrait. So another artist who just continues to evolve here, Painting My Friends. So hilarious what Machine is up to on Instagram, I believe. Saul's favorite place. So here's an artist we haven't seen before, or I haven't seen before. I can't remember who retweeted this, but just really interesting, kind of very, you know, it's bold work. It's experimental work, and you can go like, what's this about? You know, that's like the reaction I had when I first saw Nov 1914. Like, what on earth is this about? So here's Saul's on Twitter, sorry, on Object, I should say. Just really interesting, kind of wild experimental work. Original, right? And you see a consistency here too, right? Maybe we have looked at one. I feel like maybe one of these we might have looked at in the past, but just a really interesting artist. Make sure I'm following them. Kind of a new discovery for me, Saul. So just more interesting work. Here's Kikilo. This is on Zora. There was no link, and Kikilo, I looked online to try and find this on Zora, and I went here. I'll just show you, this is an example of why you should post your link under, despite, even if it hurts your reach, it's better to get a few people with the link, in my opinion. Do what you will. But then I go to the page, I can't even find it, right? So let's say I wanted to buy that. Where do I, there it is. I guess I'd go down here. So I do find it, right? But look, I shouldn't, you know, as a collector, I gave up here, right? So just kind of a lesson, and I would post the link. But hey, it's got a lot of reach though, so hard to say. Depends what you are trying to do. If you want views, maybe you don't post the link. If you want sales, maybe you post the link. This was a rad one by Katerina Create, Portrait of Another Girl. Love this one. Kind of reminds me of those 1920s, you know, modern paintings of like smoking woman or something. Very nice piece, and really nice texture within the cigarette here, and just really nice kind of, again, you know, we're almost in this kind of animation without animating, although the smoke is animated. But over here, it's just kind of creating the vibrancy of life, in a sense. The edges are being animated, right? The lines are being animated, interestingly. It's almost like different versions are being animated here. Is this a GIF? It is a GIF. Pretty cool GIF. That you can buy for 10 Tezos, edition of 5. And I think there's probably one left. Or that's listed on secondary, sold on primary for 5 Tezos. Beautiful colors in this one. Just awesome. Daniel W. Denial. Some very interesting work coming from Daniel W. here. Kind of always has a bit of a print feel to it. And these awesome skeletons with this beautiful kind of yellow on pink design. Very cool. Skeletons reading a book. It feels like out of a medieval manuscript. But it's beautiful. I've never seen it before, and there's even a little signature there. Just awesome. Awesome, awesome. Now, so sold out at edition of 10 for 5 Tezos, bringing a quick, you know, $35, $40 to the artist. And look at all the work that Daniel W. has been putting out. That came out a while ago. Like, we haven't even looked at this. You know, Daniel W. There can be a little heavy because they're 5,000 by 3,000 here. So maybe I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't risk the show. We have others by Daniel W. here. Psychostasia. But all to say, there's some catching up to do with Daniel W. here. Look at how like beautiful and huge this is. So just really nice work here from Daniel W. Another just like awesome artist who continues to evolve and develop. I mean, that's the key bullishness, is that you just keep getting better. What more could you ask for? It's going to be interesting to see. You know, the sun may change its position here in the month that I've been gone from this apartment. Athenor Rubito. I don't remember the sunlight coming in like this, hilariously. Another one by Daniel W. Loved this concept. Almost like a circuit board type concept, or a maze, or Pac-Man, and then turned into, you know, meets a tarot card or something. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting composition, and even, again, some more almost alchemical looking stuff. This looks like the, what do they call it? The mixing bowl. There's a word for that. in alchemy. This looks like alchemy here. There's almost a Max Ernst feel to this, who is also obsessed with alchemy. The snake, the Ouroboros, snake eating its tail. The fire, right? This is the mixing bowl, mingling, all that sort of stuff. So very interesting. Look at this. Quampa. More just brilliance here. Look at all these brilliant artists. I mean, when was the last time? Like, compare this to your last museum visit. You know, this is just the last couple of weeks out here. So again, this is just a work in progress. But you see, this is using, I'm tempted to call it modern Microsoft Paint. I thought they got rid of Microsoft Paint, whatever their drawing program is. So some works by Quampa here, and here's some prints, which Quampa is selling. And here's some inspiration behind the work, interestingly. You know, so just using, you know, so that is inspiring this. Pretty interesting work. Quampa, just an awesome artist here. Let's continue. Here's Naimi, Starry Night. I think this is new. This is on Foundation. This is on base. I think you can mint it. I'm kind of, you know, only 3 of 30, and so this would probably be 30 bucks. Okay, so it's not a free mint. Let's see if there's volume. There is. How are we doing? Hour 5. All right, we got to move. But almost like a crowd, right? Beautiful work. Like, I mean, the details in here, just awesome. So that's on Foundation. I'm really excited from a collector point of view of the value that I'm seeing in this market right now. Here is Sui Soichi. Should I go back to MS Paint? Yes, you should. And I follow Sui Soichi. That is a glitch on X. Look at this. Almost different hands, kind of pixel art. Yes, you should definitely use MS Paint. Rhetorical question. Totally. This is awesome. Look at all the love that work's getting there too. Looks beautiful. Here is Nicholas Dietrich, new work in progress, castles and underground scenes. The enigmatic Nicholas Dietrich continuing with the wild, super interesting pixel art, almost like a modern De Chirico over here, I would argue, and just the mystery that's created. This looks like it could hang in the same room. This is Element Lee, and we saw that on the what looked like the Japanese screens there. Part of my skills for the annual exhibition of University of Applied Arts Vienna, ubermorgan.com class. See you on the site tomorrow. So just more beautiful work here. Almost looks like a drop shadow. Hilariously. There is a drop shadow on these pixels. Hilariously. Interesting work from Element Lee. Interesting. Let's continue. Brain Dead. Proudly announce our collab, Right Click Dead with Chris WVR. So, of course, Chris War, also the electronic music artist, renowned, played works that, Carl Cox played some of the works and more. Very cool. Richie Houghton. Soon will be on object.com. So they're collaborating. And, of course, Brain Dead joining kind of the pixel art factory work, making it their own awesomely and just very cool. You know, that great genre pioneered, I believe, by Kareem Safa, which we've seen so many awesome artists, you know, Gogo Lightus, more. Gogo Lightus also put out, hilariously, a PFP collection. Like, I love that, and we're going to have to take, I think we looked at it briefly. So let's continue here. Glitch Western Icons. This is John Cates, Hard Times in the Blues, a pioneer of the Glitch Western genre, Hard Times. And there is a glitched out, it's almost like John Cates is experimenting with pixel art a little bit, or at least pixelation, shall we say. 3 minted so far. I'm very bullish on these low mints from a collecting point of view. I think there's a lot of opportunity there where all of a sudden, you know, they disappear after 30 days, you know, maybe people don't remember, or they see it for a week and it just has a low mint, and that's it. And you collect it for a couple of bucks or whatever it is. Very interesting. So Martin Bruce, also, let's see if we can make this bigger. See how well the internet's working? I think I told the story of how I fixed it. I have SIM internet. I didn't realize, and the SIM card had sort of gotten loose, and I had to just put it in, and then it's working better than it's ever worked ever, which is interesting in itself. So just a cat angel, Martin Bruce, just cool experimentation. Here's Cider. With some cool experimentation as well, just posting on X here, no comment, just rad. When you look at here, let's just open that. Oh, that is Full size, I think. Let's just try one more time. That is full size. So, but very interesting textures here. Look at this pixelation in here. From Cider, I think we have another one. There's more. So very interesting from a texture master as well. This digital texture thing, Scommer was talking about that, how interested Scommer is in textures. And it does seem to show, there is a painterliness to digital texture, interestingly, like an overlap, a visual overlap. Here's, I think we've looked at this before, perhaps. It kind of looks like an island on the sea or like a coast of some kind. Not sure. Beautiful. Again, this painterliness we see in the texture here, it's almost like, these are almost like drips. This is almost like a brush stroke that went. So novel kind of digital textures here from Cider. Here's Ex-Mortal. Beautiful. Another beautiful, we started with Ex-Mortal just a couple of shows ago, I think. And here's just another beautiful work from Ex-Mortal. Look at the edges, the colors, the glitchy, you know, lights, the waves coming in. Remember we started with it looked like the cliffs of Dover or something. Similar idea. This you can mint on Zora. It's still available for 5 days. I need to get serious about minting on Zora is what I'm thinking. Just as far as collecting. Memory Wave. Like I want one of these. $2. There's only 53. And look at what Kiro's doing. I mean, everybody continues to get better. And, you know, like put it this way, to continue to dazzle. Oh, it's like, look at this. Kiro.eth, Hydromax. Again, like this is just dazzling work. You know, just dazzling. Just like it's modern. It looks like modern art. Like, again, these video paintings. Here's another one. Black and white, just some interesting shapes. Very interesting body of work that Kiro's making here. And here's Klaus. Kind of, and so we haven't looked at Klaus for a couple of weeks here, I want to say, and you're starting to see the frame here is starting to kind of get fuzzed out. We're starting to see a bit of a different kind of composition. It's starting to evolve. And just, again, beautiful colors and textures. Klaus has a real sense for color, as you can see, and Amelia Versace picking that one up for 21 Tezos. And that's in the AV collection. Cool title, One of One. Kenji. Look at this. Well, on one device, the video runs perfectly without the dark part. On the other, it gets dark out of nowhere. I don't know where it will appear. All to say, whatever this is, Kenji, it looks beautiful. Look at this. Just very interesting work is being made here. The texture. We're kind of back to the texture and just interesting. It's fun to look at. It's beautiful. Super interesting work. Here's Santiago Ruao with another variation on this abstract technique here, using the gradients within the shape. And again, keeping it new and original. 5 minted so far, again, on Zora. So you're welcome. Cool title here, 2024. And so only 5 minted here. 187 days to go, though. You do have time on that one. Astral Male, look at this, Sean Luke. Beautiful. Again, playing with this kind of frame composition, abstraction in the middle. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful work. This is on Tezos, and this was transferred about a week ago, maybe to previous collectors, edition of 20. And here is Andre Oliveira Cebola, who we started with Mannequin. I'm not sure. I think we've seen a variation on this. Because we have seen a Mannequin before, but I don't think we've seen this one. 3D scan object and creative coding. And because I think we started a show with a different kind of Mannequin. Let's see if I can make that full screen here. As we hit the hour 13. It's amazing how much artwork there is that these shows are so long, right? Unfortunately, that is not loading up. Sometimes Foundation takes a while. Very, very cool artwork from Andre Oliveira Cebola. Very cheap mint here too. Continuing on, Zuka Kipiani, Synthetic Echoes, Brute, auction live for 4 hours. Okay, that's on Fellowship Trust, Fellowship AI, a little bit of volume there. Kind of playing with this kind of facial recognition or object recognition, surveillance camera. Cool audio. Just interesting work. Here's Simulacro. I think we saw this in the intro. Maybe the internet finally has failed here. Let's see. Nope. It's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty good. I mean, just the fact that I'm not trying to restart and everything, just really cool work here. I love the white chairs. There we go. Cool loop. Nice audio. And this strange cloud in the middle here. Love the plastic chairs. Brilliant. Brainstorming V. So maybe just putting some stuff together. Ted's Portrait Day. Interesting. Edition of 44, 750. 750 Tezos. 7 Tezos 50. This was hilarious. I love you. Salawaki with a guy, kind of a dude who's very kind of sweet and happy with an internet kind of written on the forehead there, and just kind of a funny work. I love that. Interesting experimentation from Dan Control, putting photographs on Zora, bringing something different to the blockchain by dingy yellow rocks, crystal clear water. So putting photographs. I've been trying to convince a friend of mine, and he actually wants me to show him how to put works on Tezos. I'll tell him to put it on Zora too. I'm starting to see some momentum on photography right now. I'm starting to just see it here and there. I think Rob at Foundation, who I think just left Foundation, he did a good job though. He was a hustler. And you kind of need a hustler in this business. You got to be a bit of a hustler in this business. I could hustle more, say, for example, my own work. I don't really, I'm hustling for this show in terms of just putting in the effort. But in terms of the sales, right? Like hustling, like selling your work, that's a very important quality. And Rob was a good hustler in that respect. Anyways, let's continue. I'm sure he'll reappear. Beautiful work, beautiful photo. So puts on Zora, 37 minted. Well, I'll tell my friend this. I mean, yeah, I have a friend who just picked up $70, I'm assuming, maybe more, on Zora with his photograph. You might want to consider it. Yoa Ian, Glimpses of Non-Concentric Realities. So Yoa Ian continues to experiment here. As we move into AI and, of course, digital painting and collage, Yoa Ian does a lot of combination. Beautiful work. Nice color, as usual, with Yoa Ian. Almost like paint drips. Just beautiful. Look at these textures. It's probably AI, I'm guessing. Work by Santiago trying to make sense of this. More super interesting AI experimentation from Santiago. Here's another one, I believe, by Santiago. It is just awesome. Very interesting AI artwork. Here's Marina Amadova. This is part of a series, for the culture. We'll bring that up quickly here. But very cool. I believe this is an AI painting by Maria Amadova. Nice move. Very interesting. Look at the texture there. Again, we're back to texture, these beautiful emulation, these simulated paintings, right? Just super duper interesting. Sunlit Fleeting. There's so much interesting art. So that is from this show here. Trilobite with a work there, very cool. And so we can't go through everything. We're at hour 17, but just a quick tour here of, there's Anna Dart, awesomely, Rosa Jade, and so all sorts of people. I actually brought up Yoao, Salazar, Grimoire, right? Very cool. So a ton of awesome work here. Huge show. Look at this. There's Stalamir. Wow. So, yeah, we may have to go into some of these again. Max Capacity, Human Boy. So just a huge show here. I mean, this is massive. So very cool. Now, there's Nami. So that is also, Nami is the Starry Night that we looked at. Demon Ego. I'm not sure. This show is so large, I'm not sure actually what the deal is. This is a massive show for the culture. Cool. Canik Zapata. That's on Foundation. Canik Zapata, glitch artist, doing a lot of AI, just rad experimentation here from Canik Zapata. Very interesting. Here's Skamra, who's on the spaces, and just more beautiful textures, as you can see here, kind of using, I believe, Stable Diffusion, an early version of Stable Diffusion, I think 1.1, and the textual inverters, if I'm saying that right, and some physical work as we wrap up Ilya Barabin, and then get back to my appointment that I am super late for. Okay, yeah. And Ilya Barabin with some physicals here. Really interesting piece. Skateboarding on grass, but almost like a ballerina here on top. Very, very interesting work here from just conceptual composition. Just a very interesting piece. Almost like a surrealist piece. Here is Filippo Francocci, work in progress. These two paintings are turning into a diptych. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? So more interesting artwork, all sorts of different, kind of almost has a Dali-like feel there. Very interesting work. Beautiful, kind of suggestive, abstract. Here's Joao Salazar, Memory and Data. And this is also for the Culture physical NFT. And here it is, so brand new one from Joao Salazar, combining Windows XP or Windows 95 type iconography with general internet iconography, some painting, textures, very cool, available on Foundation. And here is Walk. I love 5 of 10 still available. I think this is the work. I'm not sure. This Words by Walk. Again, look at how beautiful this is. I don't know if you can see that. But just the little drips, this is gorgeous. Bid Now Foundation app, what a brilliant ad. And I actually love how these smaller works make a large work. And that's on Foundation, and 5 of 10 still available. So that's on Foundation there. So we've been looking at some of these. Here's another one, Win. And again, you just see the masterclass in spray paint art from Walk. Every little speck of paint and even the drips, masterful. Absolutely masterful. Win. Reserve 0.01. And that, my friends, is your show. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you for all the support. And we'll see you on Monday. Until next time, have a great weekend and take care.